How you doing?
It's good. Doing real good. It's a great day.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for taking a minute out. I'm looking forward to getting into uh, well-tempered madness. But before we do that, I want to know for artists and musicians, the last 4 years and going through that pandemic was quite a thing. And we're looking at the 4-year mark. How did you get through that time period, and how good does it feel to have new material out now?
Well, I'll tell you, we were in a good situation in Las Vegas to where uh, I was gearing up to launch a band called Well Tempered Madness. And of course, February of that year, 2020, then everything just came to a halt. And so my intentions were then to do what I'm doing now, but everything, I didn't have any choice other than to just stop. So I really embraced it. And I thought, okay, this is a good time to uh, work on the compositions, work on arrangements, do some recording, so on and so forth. So I used the time in solitude, if you will, to finish up some tunes and also be inspired to write new tunes
Yeah.
because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
Bob Dylan moment for all of us, for sure. I
yeah,
mean, there was a lot of fertile ground going on. So it
yeah.
has to feel so good, kind of full circle, or however you want to put it, that this has actually come to fruition. There's artwork back there, there's music, it's here. Overall, in a visceral way, how does it feel?
It feels like I'm reaching a goal that I've had for a long, long time. I'm finally here. I've tried to launch this project before, and I always thought I could balance working with other artists, well-known artists, and touring with launching my own project. And for some reason, I'm not the type of guy that can do that.
Yeah.
So right now, it feels like I've reached a goal, but I have so many more,
Yeah.
and I'm setting on so many songs that I want to get out and share with people that as good as it feels, all I see are marks ahead of me.
Yeah.
What I want to accomplish yet.
And as a debut album, I'm curious, what are you hoping the listener, critics, what have you, anybody out there that has ears that are turned towards your project, what do you hope they get from this project?
I hope that they know it's a sincere, honest um, body of work. The hope they can understand that the inspiration is meaningful. It's the tunes uh, were from different places that I traveled, different people I've met, situations that I've encountered or heard about, and so it's the the name Well Tempered Madness implies the world is kind of in a state of madness, yet we all remain well tempered at this point. And so, while the instrumental songs may not present an obvious meaning like the vocal tunes do, they're still uh, written from an inspiration, from an experience, so on and so forth. And I hope that people know it's just good, honest, original work. It's not. I don't write to hit any to do anything other than to share my art form. It's art. To me,
Yeah.
it's art.
Yeah.
And because of that, there have been lots of discussions on how do we label this art. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different genres implied in the music that it's uh, there are elements of jazz, there are elements of blues, rock, all kinds of stuff in it. And but how do you the body of work on this album is not so well defined as to say it's one this or that.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's art,
Yeah.
you know. Why paint the same picture over and over?
Right. I dig it. How, how did this journey begin for you? How did the guitar become your instrument? How did music become your passion? How did all of it happen?
It seemed to happen naturally. It seemed to happen without looking for it. I remember we just the guitar world just lost a great guitarist named Dwayne Eddy, and you know the jazz world may not know who that is, but in the '50s he was one of the very first rock star guitar players. And I remember being a little kid and listening to the radio and hearing the guitar jump out of that AM radio, and it spoke to me. It just totally spoke to me. And I was also fortunate enough to have a grandmother who loved music. And she would, as a little kid, she would teach me things like how to make songs using the spring on the back screen door of her house. You know, changing the pitch with the length and the
Yeah.
tension of it and so on. And she would sing to me. And it just seemed like it was already thought out for me what I was going to do, even as a little kid. Even my first little plastic ukulele that I didn't know how to tune, I could actually pick out song melodies on it. It's as if I'd done it before. It just came easy. And so by the time I was 10, it was graduating to a real guitar, learning how to really tune it, and taking a few lessons from a local person. And uh, I never looked back. I just kept moving forward. Um, so that's how it all started,
Yeah.
and it hasn't ended yet.
So, what was the first live show you saw that blew you away?
Um, First live show was probably at McCain Auditorium in Manhattan, Kansas. Saw the band Chase
Okay.
with Bill Chase,
Okay.
and he was on tour supporting his big hit "Get It On" in the
Yeah.
morning now. And man, I'd already played guitar for a while, but to see and feel the energy and hear the energy of that band and what they were doing was phenomenal, and it was very it struck me spiritually. And so soon after that, I started attending the jazz festivals in Kansas City
Yeah.
with a friend, and I remember sitting and listening to the Count Basie band, and then they brought on Ella Fitzgerald. And as a young man listening to Ella sing live, now I heard Ella before on television, but to hear her live, uh, I started to weep uncontrollably. And
Yeah.
I thought, so this is what it's about. You hear that live voice right there, and it's doing this to me. As a young man, this lady is doing this to me, and I have no control over it.
Yeah.
It's it's like wow,
That's
the
amazing.
power of music.
I always ask people if you could go back in time and see one show or one musician live, and I'll get to that. I always think it would be great to see Ella the first time she went on the stage at the Apollo, but she was that shy little girl and she belted out, and no one expected it, and it just blew everybody away. That would be magnanimous just to feel the energy in that room shift.
Yeah. Well, there's so many greats that were some of them were gone before I had an opportunity to do that. And certainly where I grew up in north central Kansas, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to see um, live entertainment of that caliber, especially. Um, I am inspired by everybody and everything. I think everybody has something to say
Yeah,
that's valid. And so one of the first turning points for me as a guitarist was when my uncle brought over some Jimi Hendrix records. Now, I was a big listener up until that point, but when those went on, it was as if something spiritual just happened. And it's like, where with Jimmy, it's not so much about the notes he played, it's where are these notes coming from?
yeah,
What kind of energy is he channeling? And where is that coming from? And so I'm more interested in that aspect than what chords or is he playing or whatever. And so it's not a lot different when I'd listen to Miles play.
yeah,
Now I was also a trumpet player,
yeah,
and through college. As a matter of fact, when I went to college, I had to major as in trumpet because at that point, very few places uh, recognized guitar as a valid instrument.
yeah,
It was still just on the fringes. You had to go to LA or New York or Berkeley, something like that, to really get a quality guitar uh, program. So as a trumpet player, yeah, I listened to Miles early on, and Clark Terry,
yeah,
all these guys, and of course, trumpet can only play one note at a time,
yeah,
and so that's one of the reasons I chose guitar over trumpet was I can play more than one note.
yep,
I can be a little bit more expressive with it,
yeah.
although that's arguable because who's going to say that to any of the great horn players out there? I mean, they just make their horns talk. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you like the best about being a professional musician?
um, well, you the greatest thing is that you get to make a living doing what you love to do,
Yeah,
and even during years of hard touring, I mean, lots of shows, lots of travel. Once in a while, there'd be a day to where I get up and go, I just don't feel like doing it today. That was my first thought. My second thought is, well, what would I rather be doing?
yeah,
Easy, nothing.
yeah,
There's nothing I'd rather be doing. So, uh, as Frank Zappa so put it, just shut up and play your guitar.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
So, at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, fans, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
well, um, just like anybody, except that I've been blessed with the time and space and ability to channel that energy, channel that creative energy, and and put it into an art form called music. And that's what my whole life's been about. That and my family and raising our kids, so on and so forth. So, family, and I take music real serious. Sometimes, I wish I didn't take it quite so serious, but
Yeah.
It's what I do, and I can't. It's addictive to me, and it's what everything's about. Every room in my house has instruments in it, and if I'm watching TV, I have a guitar in my hands, and it's. I think people pretty much see that. If they know me at all, they know that, and the people that don't know me and they come to see us play, perform, I'm hoping that I just portray what I've described in a live situation.
Yeah.
Now, I also understand and don't underestimate the art of entertainment. I'm not a real outgoing type of person or with that kind of a personality, but I've played with artists that are, and it is quite an education to sit behind them or stand behind them for shows and watch them do their thing and learn how to do that, and see all the joy that they bring to people.
Yeah.
And I hope so through the music. I hope that people can identify my music with aspects of their life.
Yeah.
The sad times, the good times, the odd times, so on and so forth. It's all valid. The emotions. I really tried to put emotions in some type of a sonic quality. So tension. Some of the notes are ugly, but some of life is ugly.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's how I look at it, and the way I express myself.
Well-Tempered Madness. Where's the best place for people to pick it up, catch you live, any of the good business? Where can they go?
You can find it all over the internet, Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, even Amazon.com. We've got CDs, we've got thumb drives, we've got shirts, we've got posters, we've got stickers, and we're just about to launch a tour for the CD release. It's time to get out there and play in front of the people. We've got an excellent band, and very entertaining. Everyone on their own is worthy of coming to see. So you put us all together, and it's some really a good time.
Yeah.
It's good music. It's honest music, and a lot of it is based on improvisation. And so anybody that likes that type of thing, whether it's blues or jazz or rock or fusion or whatever it is, I think you're going to enjoy it.
I can attest to the power of it. I urge everyone to go out and get it. I'm looking forward to profiling it on Neon Jazz in the neighborhood you grew up in, here in Kansas City. So thank you, sir, for your time. Best of luck with the release and everything else, live shows. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. I look forward to meeting you one of these days in person.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Hey, jazz fans. Joe Domino here, the host of the weekly Neon Jazz radio show and regular interview series being produced and distributed from Lee Summit, Missouri. We are quite excited to let you know about the first annual Lee Summit Jazz Fest taking place this summer on June 22nd, 2024 at the Bridge Space located at 210 Southwest Market Street. There will be 8 robust acts, including the Back Alley Brass Band and the great Lee Summit Jazz Orchestra. There will also be art vendors and food trucks to make this a must-attend event. All details can be found at www.bridgespace.us/jazz. We will see you there.